Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. My name is Amanda. In today's video I'm going to be doing a Sims 4 speed build, and for that speed build we're going to be renovating the 701 Zenview apartment in Myshuno. So I'm going to start off by completely emptying everything in this apartment, including the interior walls, because I wanted to do a complete new floor plan, as I wanted this to be an apartment for a larger family, and I also wanted it to have a bit of an autumn vibe to it as well. I've not gone too full on autumn with autumn decorations. I have a little bit on the outside balcony, but mainly we're keeping it autumn by the shades of the colours we're going to be using throughout the apartment in things like the furnishings and the walls, etc. Now, like I said, I wanted this to be an apartment for a larger family, so I wanted it to feel quite squished and lived in. I think I built this a little while ago, so I'm trying to remember, but I believe there is a bedroom for 2 children, boys, and then 2 teen girls, and then obviously the parents' room. And yeah, like I said, I wanted to feel quite lived in, and so we're going to have lots of clutter around and lots of things for them to use for gameplay wise as well, like hobbies and things like that. So let's jump in and start off with the kitchen. I wanted to go for quite a dark wood flooring, again just because it gave those cozy autumn vibes. And then we're keeping with that theme with the splashback and the wall paint shades as well. And again, I felt like these counters worked quite well with keeping with all the oranges and the browns and things like that. Now, this kitchen is quite big for me. Usually when I build apartments, the kitchens end up quite small, but this one was on the more larger size, and I wanted it to be like that because I imagined the mum, she's very homely, she does lots of cooking and things like that. There is also a separate laundry room in here as well, so if you play with laundry, that has been provided too. Now, I did make some changes in this kitchen to the version that is uploaded on the gallery, because I did the whole hack of sizing down an island counter so that you could freely place a kettle on one of the normal counters, and for some reason it just wouldn't work when it comes to play testing. I'm sure I've done this in lots of builds before and it's worked, so you can see here I'm doing that. And yeah, I'm sure it's playable like this, but for some reason it wasn't working. So I took it out of the build and uploaded it anyway. If I find a way to make it work, then I will change it and re-upload. But yeah, it just wasn't working. I don't know if it was the positioning of the counter or something like that. And then I did also realize that I hadn't actually left a counter space spare for actually cooking, because I went a little overboard with the cluttering. So the kettle did end up going for this build. But like I said, I wanted there to be lots of clutter because I wanted it to feel really lived in. And I feel as though when you've got a larger family, especially with children, there is going to be lots of decor for the walls and lots of things that you're going to use and have up around the house. I didn't want this to look like modern and aesthetic. I wanted it to look really homely. So I hope I achieved that look. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I haven't done too many family apartments. A lot of the time when I build apartments, I tend to do them for either single Sims or couple Sims or house shares where you've got a couple of mates living together. So I haven't done too many family apartments. I have only recently got back into playing The Sims 4. I played The Sims 3 back when I was younger, and then I played The Sims 4 when it initially launched for a couple of years, and then I had a really long period where I didn't play. I got back into playing last year, and I really wanted to start a building YouTube channel, but it just didn't really take off because I didn't have the time to commit to it, and then life and work got busy, and again I had another little gap from playing The Sims, and I've just got back into playing it, and I've really got back into playing it. I've got a new computer that runs it beautifully with lots of CC and things like that, mods downloaded where my previous computer couldn't hack that. So I've recently got back into playing, so I thought it was a great time to start a YouTube channel. I don't have all of the packs installed. I do need to go through and see what ones I'm missing, because I do feel as though this Sims brings out a lot of content on a regular basis, which is not something I'm complaining about. But I do need to go through and look at what packs that I know I will play with and use and download those, because like I said, I do also have CC, so I do use a lot of that as well. If you'd like to see some CC builds, do let me know. I did turn CC off for this build, so there's no CC included in this one, but if that is something you'd be interested in, I would definitely like to do some CC builds as well. But we're now moving on anyway into the living room of this apartment, and it is on the smaller side, but I wanted it to feel quite cozy. cozy. And this is where I start adding in a few autumn decorations here and there, but just playing around. I don't have, because I recently changed computer, like I said, I got a new one, I don't have all of my mods and CC installed, and I don't have the red shelf or the oh my gosh, it's completely the Better Build Buy mod, and the mod that allows you to place stuff. The name of it has completely gone off my head, but you probably know the ones I use. The one that allows you to place stuff freely a lot easier. I don't have that installed, so placing clutter was a little bit tricky in this build, but we're working with it anyway. So here I wanted to make sure that there was stuff for all of the Sims to do. So like I said before, I wanted to make sure there was lots of hobbies and lots of gameplay things included in this build. So I have included the video games console, and then we do also add some toys and things over here to play with as well, and some bookshelves, because of course you're going to do reading and things like that if you've got children and teen Sims as well. So I'm just coming in, placing lots of those down. I did size down a few items here that I like the way they look, but they were just a little bit too big for what I had in mind for the space, because I still wanted this to be playable and for your Sims to easily be able to root around the room, because we had obviously put quite a lot in. But then I did also want it to look quite nice. Like, I imagine there's a mum, maybe she's a stay-at-home mum or works from home, and she's quite proud of how her house looks and wants it to look quite clean and tidy. So I did want to have that effect to it as well. I love having a mirror with shelves underneath it, so we've done that by adding on, I think this is the Immaculate Shelf. We've added that on under the mirror, and then it gives you another space to add on some cluttered items and make it look a little bit more lived in. I didn't want to over clutter it because I still want the mirror to look functional. Obviously it is still functional, but if you was using it in real life, you wouldn't want too much stuck in front of your reflection. There is a little laundry room, like I mentioned, down here. So we're coming in now, and I did play around with this a little bit because I haven't built too many laundry rooms, especially one. This is quite a small one. So I did play around with it to get it to work how I felt as though it looked not just like a tiny cupboard with your washing machine and tumble dryer stuck inside. And also this is quite different to me because I've never lived in a house that has a separate laundry or separate utility room. I live in the UK, and a lot of the time we just have our washing machine and tumble dryer in the kitchen. Obviously if you've got a larger house, you probably do have like a little add-on or a utility room. So these are always quite fun to build for me because I like building things that I might not necessarily have lived in, or I might not necessarily have used. So it's just a small little utility room there, or laundry room, and it just comes off the front door as well, so it's not actually directly connected to the kitchen, which is, I suppose, a little bit annoying if it was real life. Moving on to this little entryway, I always seem to do little entryways in the apartment builds because you can't move or change the front door, and it really bugs me because a lot of the time I don't feel as though the front door fits the vibe that I was going for. So I always create like a little entryway that just feels slightly separate from the rest of the home. This one I put an arch on rather than a second door, so it opens it out a little bit more, but it just separates from the ugly door that is there. And then for this I just would put some standard hallway clutter, a little dish, and I imagine we have one of these dishes in our house where you just throw all your bits in when you walk through the door, like your keys, bits and bobs that needs to be put away and you can't be bothered to put away. Again, I also put some shoes in, and I love this no shoes on in the house sign as well, so I stuck that up there, and I do believe that has gameplay. I don't play the game too often. A lot of the time I build in The Sims more than gameplay, but I do believe if you've got that sign on, then your Sims will naturally change out of their outer shoes when they enter the apartment. Pretty happy with downstairs, so we're going to move on upstairs, and I started off where I wasn't 100% sure whether to do the same flooring as downstairs. I decided to keep with the same colour but change the pattern, so we've gone for this more straight wood effect. And then we're going to move on into the parents' room, which this was a nice decent sized room. I was originally going to do the walk-in closet, but it just took up a little bit too much space for the other room, and like I said, because I want to have 4 children living in the apartment, I didn't want to make their rooms too small. So we're coming on into this one. I'm still debating the walk-in closet thing here, but then I do switch it up and we just go for these 2 double wardrobes, which I feel as though I reach for these ones quite a lot because they're just quite a basic standard looking wardrobe, keeping with the really nice autumnal orange tones for this room. And then here I was going to change around the windows. I love this update, by the way, to the Sims 4 apartments, that you can change the windows, because I know you never used to be able to do that when Myshuno was, what pack did it come with? City Living. When City Living was first launched, you couldn't move the windows, and obviously I haven't played in a little while, so when I come back to playing, I was so happy to see that update. But then the one downside is it does bug me a little bit that if you change the windows and then you look from the outside, it looks odd compared to all the other apartments. So sometimes I'll ignore that and I'll do it depending on the build. But if I can get the windows to work where they are, I just end up sticking with them anyway. So that was what I did for this one, because I just didn't quite like how it looked when I changed the windows. It just looked a little too odd for me for some reason, but I do love that the option is now there. So we're just coming in and finishing off this room. This room I do end up adding in a desk that someone could work from. Like, it looks very work from home, and that's because, like I said, I did imagine this mum to either be a stay-at-home mum or someone who works from home, so she's at home quite a lot. So I wanted to make sure that there was a work from home space available there. And then here I imagined it's just some shoe storage, because I feel as though there's not lots of storage in this house, so you are going to have to keep a lot of your personal stuff in your bedroom. I know lots of people might just keep all their shoes in their hallway, so here I made a space for the parents' shoes so that they've got somewhere to go. And then we're just finishing off in there, and then I did give them an ensuite as well, so we're coming in and doing their bathroom, and I went all out with the orange and blue in here, and I really loved how it looked. I did change it up and go for this wooden bath because I felt as though it looked a lot more built in with the wood paneling and the dark counters as well. So I really liked how that turned out, and where it was up against the window as well, I felt it looked quite, you've got a really nice view effectively. So then we're just finishing off that and just adding in, I'm not adding in loads because this is only a small bathroom. I don't really feel as though I did a too big bathroom for this build. There isn't one downstairs, which I usually always do a smaller bathroom downstairs, but I didn't include that in this apartment. So we've got this ensuite bathroom up here, and then there is a more family bathroom that the kids will all have to share on. Obviously, if you've got any guests, it'll be designed for them to use the upstairs one there as well. So like I said, I didn't add too much clutter. There's not too much going on. I kept the bathroom fairly simple. We're going to move on into the hallway. I wanted to try and make this a space where it does look a little bit decorative as well, but also have some storage as well, because like I said, when you've got a family, I feel as though there needs to be some storage because you seem to accumulate so much stuff. Here I just imagined this was a little space where you could change up and add seasonal decor depending on the time of year. So obviously it's autumn here, we're going into autumn in the UK, so I added in the autumn pumpkins there, and I did add a little chair here as well, just more for decorative reasons. It filled the space. I'm not necessarily sure if I would ever sit on a chair in my hallway. But we're now going to move on to the daughter's room, and I've realised I said in this build that I did this for twins, sorry, not twins, two teenage girls. I don't think this is the right build. This build, it just has the one daughter. So, you know, you could change it up if you didn't want it to be a daughter, of course. But this, what I had in mind was one daughter and two boys. And I did this as a teen, but I kind of in my mind pictured it a more younger teen, so maybe more actually like 11, 12, 13. So she's just getting into makeup and things like that, so I wanted it to look a little bit grown up but still more on the younger girl side. So again, not too aesthetic, but we've got some aesthetic touches in there. I did put in lots of girly clutter and things like that, so it's not necessarily a very functional desk, but you can sit there. And then I did also want to include in a TV in here as well, so I've added on a little TV over in the corner. I can't remember if I added a games console into here as well, because I did want there to still be some functionality items in there that you could maybe play about with if you was a girl or a teen chilling in your bedroom. So yeah, I did add in the games console there as well. Then we're just basically going to fill it with the rest of the bedroom items that you might need. So I added in this wardrobe and then the little board there that's from the pastel pop kit. I really loved how this room turned out. It's just so colourful, and that's why it kind of made me feel it's more of a younger girl, a younger teen's room rather than a teen who's gone into more of their own grown-up colour scheme. I feel as though it kind of looks like a room where it was a child's room and they've got rid of a lot of the toys and slowly started adding in more grown-up features, because I really, really love the colours. And the same goes for the boys' room as well. I had a lot of fun doing this room. I went with this cool like mountain look wallpaper and added in some blinds just so we've got something covering the windows. And this is why I also love that you can move the windows now, because you can place the curtains and blinds a lot easier as well. So at this point I wasn't 100% sure. I played around with this room a little bit. I wanted to kind of split it so they had their own halves, but then it wasn't 100% working how I wanted it. So I did play around a little bit with this room, but I really liked how it turned out, and it's a really nice functional space as well. I imagined these to be typical child age, so around 7, 8. I don't really know what people would pick up the child age for in The Sims, but I wanted to make it a really nice space that they could play in as well. So I wanted it to include a few toys and books and things like that as well. I really wanted to include this, but it takes up so much space, but I did really like it. So I was kind of just playing around the room to see how I could get it to work and fit things in. Like I said, I did want this house, or this apartment, sorry, to feel quite squished. I wanted it to feel maybe like the family are actually outgrowing the apartment, and maybe they're sort of starting to think we need to move into a bigger space, maybe move out of the city so we get more for our money. But I wanted to feel like they're renting this size apartment, so they're making it work for them, but it feels quite squished and lived in. And I do have a family in mind that I want to create for this to play in. So again, I've kept that in mind, that I would like it to maybe play with them in this apartment for a little bit, and then as they grow and the kids get older, they, you know, excel in their careers, and maybe they can afford to move out of the city and go and buy a house in a more cheaper area so that they can get more for their money, maybe like when the boys turn to teens, so that they can then go and get their own rooms and the daughter can have a bigger room, things like that. So I wanted it to feel very squished and lived in for this part. So that's why we just played around with it. I did end up having to get rid of the child's tent thing because I just couldn't get to work, and I decided to stick a desk in there with a tablet as well. Going back into the hallway, I did add the decorations box in because of course it has a very full vibe to it, so I wanted to make sure the decorations box was there, and it kind of just fitted as well, looking like you've got a storage box of random stuff in your hallway that you just haven't put away yet. And then we're going to move on to the larger bathroom. So I kept kind of with the same colour scheme as the previous bathroom. We've kept with a lot of those orange and blues, but in this bathroom I did add in the shower and bath combo. It's not a huge bathroom, but it'll work. It probably could have done with having another bathroom in this apartment for the amount of Sims that are living in it, but I feel, again, like I was saying, we wanted to keep it quite squished and as though the family have outgrown it, so we went with that. I did add a laundry basket in to this one, but I don't think I added a laundry basket in to the parents' room bathroom. I don't think I did anyway, so that might be something I'll have to double check and I'll add in, because of course if you want to play with laundry you need to have your laundry baskets placed down. If you don't want to play with laundry, you could easily delete those laundry hampers, and you could even swap out the utility room downstairs and make it a small bathroom if you wanted to, because I know not everyone plays with laundry because it does get a little bit annoying. Even myself in gameplay, sometimes I won't play with it because it just be like, I have enough of that chore in real life, I don't need it in my Sims as well. I did also decide to add on an easel out in the hallway here as well, because there wasn't really space for it, but I wanted to include it in because I feel as though it's a great way to build a creative skill in the game and then also make a little bit of money as well. I did nearly forget that I had to do the balcony on this build, so we're going to move on to the balcony, which is the final space to decorate. And then what annoyed me here is I didn't think when I placed this bathroom that is looking right out onto the balcony, so I kind of wanted to cover it up a little bit so you're not, when you're out on the balcony, looking into the bathroom. So these hanging leaves were perfect for that. And then I added in a barbecue area. I decided to add in the fridge because although I know when you click to cook on the barbecue it just starts cooking, but in my mind it would be really annoying if you lived in this apartment and you had to go downstairs to get all the stuff out of your fridge to cook on the barbecue. So I did add in a little fridge over in the corner as well. A few more autumn decorations out here because I do feel as though they look nicer on the more outside of the property than the inside, like things like your pumpkins and things. If you've carved a pumpkin, you're more than likely going to put it outside than have it inside, so I wanted them on the outside. And again, I added in a space for some playable items, and here there is enough dining chairs for everyone to sit and eat together, which I thought was nice as well. And then that, guys, is the end of the renovation. So I have added this onto the gallery. I'll leave it linked in the description box below, so it is available to download if you wish. Thank you all so much for watching today's video. If you did enjoy it, please give it a thumbs up, leave me a comment below, and hit the subscription button if you haven't already. I hope you all have an amazing day. Take care, lots of love, bye bye.